level 122. Now let's see. There are 4 different variables here. Let's see. We see y can at most be 3. And it's the same with x. And it's the same with b. So the maximum number is 3. That means there are only 4 possibilities: 3, 2, 1, and 0. Since there are 4 different letters, then one of them has to be 0. Now, if y is 0, this bunny does not get hit, so y is not 0. And it's the same with b, and it's the same with x. That means the only letter that can be 0 is A. So A has to be 0. And then the others are 1, 2, and 3. Now this can only be hit by this. And this can only be hit by this. This one can only be hit by either this or this. So it can't be hit by this one. And this tells me that either y or x is 3. Now, which one can be 3? If y is 3, then this one hits these 2 and this one. But, yeah, let's see. If y is 3, this one hits these. This one has to be hit by this one, which has to hit this one and this one. Then we get an impossible situation here where this bunny can't get hit. That tells me y can't be 3 and it has to be 1. That also means x has to be 3. So y is 1. That means this bunny has to be hit by this one, which can't hit these. This one can only be hit by this one. Same with this, and x is 3, can't be any more, so it can't hit these. This can only be hit by this bomb. X can't be more than 3, so we need walls here. This has to be hit by x, which needs 3 targets. This bomb can't hit this bunny, because it would hit this one as well. So this must be a wall. That means this bunny has to be hit here. We need a wall here. And now this is gray. So these have to be hit by this one. And the last one has to be hit by this one. Now we need some walls. Here, here. Need one here, here. This has to be a wall. This can't be a wall because that would block in this A bomb. So it's empty and this has to be a wall. We need to have a wall here. And that means this can't be a wall because that would isolate these. And this can't be a wall for the same reason. And neither can this. So that would mean this would be a separate zone. So this is empty. This is gray. This column has 2 more walls. And now we see we almost have a wall here. If this is a wall, well, we can't have that, so it has to be empty. That means this row is filled in with walls that way. And now this is gray. This can't be a wall. Now we almost have a diagonal wall off here. That means this can't be a wall. So we can fill in the column with walls here and here. And of course this can't be a wall. I mean, this has to be a wall because it can't be empty. This is gray. And just like the opposite corner, this can't be a wall. This is gray. This row needs one more. This column needs one more wall. This is gray. This row needs 2 more walls. This column needs one more. And the final space has to be a wall. Level 123. You can fill in these columns as indicated. And of course, we can't have walls in these places, since bombs need to connect to the crystal somehow. So no bomb can be walled in. And now let's look at the sums. The sums are equal, 82 and 82. That means the total number of walls in these question mark rows has to be equal to the number of walls in this question mark column. Now, each of these rows needs to have at least one wall, because of course both bombs in each row can't hit the bunnies. Only one can. So each of these has at least one wall for a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means this column has to have at least 7 walls and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 exactly. That means each of these has exactly one wall. And now, this can't be a wall because that would lock in this bomb. And it's the same here. So, this bomb hits these. That means this has to be a wall. This can't be a wall. There has to be a path. And also we can put empty spaces in these columns, which are gray. That lets us fill in the rest of this row, walls. Now, either this or this is going to be a wall. If this is a wall, this has to be empty. If this is a wall, this has to be empty. It tells me that these have to be walls, since there's only one empty space left on this row. Also, this column can now be filled in with walls, since it must have 6. And that means this can't be a wall. So this has to be a wall. And this cannot be a wall. Also, we need some empty spaces for the bombs to have paths. And now let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we're not sure exactly where the walls are, but here, this must have 6 walls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. And this can't be a wall. Therefore, this has to be a wall, and this needs a path. That lets us fill in this room with walls. Now, we need paths for the bombs. And now we can fill in this column with walls. And so we need some empty space for the bombs. And we see this cannot be a wall. Therefore, this has to be a wall. And we need empty space here. That lets us fill in this row with walls. And now the rest of this column must be walls. That means this cannot be a wall. And we need empty spaces here. And this must be a wall. This must be empty. Now we fill in this row. This column needs 2 more walls, which means this cannot be a wall. So this has to be. This is not a wall. So we can fill in this row. This is gray now. This column has 1 more wall. This is gray. Therefore, we need a wall here. This is gray. So, and this is gray, and we see this final space has to be a wall. Level 124. Now we see there are 4 bombs and 4 crystals. So each connects to one and only one. Now let's see. This row has 9 walls. That tells me that this bomb has to hit this bunny. The alternative is this bomb hits this bunny instead, and this bunny has to be hit by this bomb. Then we can only get 8 walls here. So this has to be the case. And also it needs to be separated from all other bunnies and bombs. We need to have one wall okay, so this is connected now. That's good. And that means this has to connect to something else. Maybe this one, or maybe something else. Anywho, it can't connect to this. And of course it can't have a path this way, so it must go up. And that means we can fill in this row. And this one needs to have 2 more walls. See, there's 2 walls in this row. At least one of them is here. The other one we don't know, but it can't be here or here, because that would make unconnected empty space, which can't be. Now let's see, this row has 1 wall. It has to be between these 2, or else this happens. That means the wall is not here. So this column has 3 more walls. This may or may not be a wall, but at least 2 of these are walls, which means this bomb can't hit both of these, which means it has to hit this and these. And of course this has to be blocked off from other bombs and bunnies. And now this one can only be hit by this bomb, which cannot hit this bunny. It has to be hit by this bomb, which also has to hit this bunny. And now this is grayed out. Now let's see, this crystal can connect either to this group or to this one. So either this is empty or one of these 3 is empty. That means this is not a wall. This is a wall. It's not an empty space, and neither is this. Also, that tells us this has to be a wall, or else, yeah, if this is empty, then all of this is locked off, and this can't connect to anything except through here. So this must be a wall. And oh yeah, we can fill in this with walls as well, which grays out this. We need to have walls here and here. So now this is gray. And we need to have a wall here. And now this is gray. This has to be a wall. Now this is grayed out, and we see this crystal connects here, which means there has to be separation here, and this needs a path down here somewhere. And this is gray. So now we have that path. That means this has to connect here and be walled off here. And we see this has to be a wall. This has to be a wall. This is grayed out. There's 1 space left, and it has to be a wall. Level 125. First, we can separate the crystals and bombs from each other. And notice there are 4 bunnies and 4 crystals, which means each crystal has to connect to 1 bunny. and only one. That tells me that the bunnies can't be hit by the same bomb, and they need to be separated. So that grays out these columns, which we fill in with empty space. Now this can't be a wall because this needs a path, and that means we need a wall of separation here. And it's the same over here. Now this crystal could only possibly connect to this one. I'm pretty sure, because for any other crystal to connect, they would have to, let's say if this connects here, this would need either a path through here to get here, or through here, or something like that. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. But anyway, let's check out some other things first. Need path here and here. That lets us fill in this row. And we need paths here and here. Yeah, we definitely need this to connect to this bunny, because if it connects here, you get crazy situations where this has to pass through this bomb and through here somewhere, which means there had to be a wall here, which means this bunny doesn't get hit by anything. And that can't be. And it's the same over here. This crystal needs to connect here and this one here. And let's see. It has to be hit by a bomb. It can only be hit by this one. And this needs to be a wall. This needs to be a wall. So there needs to be a connection, which must be here, because otherwise this is a wall, and there has to be a wall between the bomb and the crystal. And that can only be here, for there to still be a connection. And it's a similar thing down here. This bunny can only be hit by this bomb. There needs to be separation here and here. But we have more opportunities here. Let's see. Of course, this can't be a wall because that would sever the connection. So this is open, and these two must be walls. Now this bunny has to be hit by this bomb, this bunny by this bomb, and of course they must be disconnected since their bunnies must be disconnected. That grays out these two rows and this column. And we need a wall here. This needs a path. It needs to be walled off on both sides. And now we see this connects here. All crystals are connected to their respective bombs and bunnies. Well, these two bombs still need connections, which we can't determine quite yet. Now I do notice that in this row there's only one wall, which means either these connect here or these connect here. And that means they can't be connected to these middle crystals. So these have to be walls. Now this is gray. And these two have to be walls. This can't be a wall, since that would isolate this bomb, and that means the rest of this row is walls. Now this is gray, and one of these is a wall. This row has one more wall. This is gray, and there has to be one wall here. And this is grayed out.